weeping, crushed, remorseful. Then the rabbi is beaten, put on trial, guilty, delivered to the Romans, mocked, scourged, spat upon, crown of thorns on his head, bleeding. Some witnesses, anybody who could have seen that, anybody who could have put their hope on him, he would look pathetic now, judged to death, carrying the crossbeam through the streets, people mocking him, Messiah, going up to Golgotha. There he's stripped completely. There he is nailed through in agony, lifted up on an execution stake with other criminals there, left to hang, to bleed to death or to suffocate, gasping for air. Disciples watching from a distance. Their hope now helpless, dying. The women weeping who loved him see him dying. They thought he was the radiance of God. They thought he was the hope. Everything is crushed. And finally, he closes his eyes, breathes his last. The body is taken down, not by the 12, but by those who are near there and the women. Now, naked, half naked, buried. The stone is rolled against the tomb. Friday night, Shabbat, Sabbath, Passover. Miriam of Migdal, or Mary Magdalene, she just stays there staring at the tomb. As life goes on in Jerusalem, it's a Sabbath, but for her, life doesn't go on anymore. She just sits and stares and stays there. She'd rather be there with her dead Messiah than to be anywhere else. Everything happened so quickly, they couldn't even process it. Everything fell apart. One of the 12 betrays the master, they find out. He was the one he handed him over, Yehuda, Judas. Now he's dead, he killed himself. The leader of the disciples, Peter, is gone in bitter remorse. Thomas is openly doubting, and undoubtedly others as well. The rest hiding for their lives, scared. They left everything for him, and now nothing, it's all over. It's recorded, it said, one of them said, we were hoping that he was the one who would redeem Israel. We were hoping. In other words, we're no longer hoping. We were hoping. Now what's left? Nothing. They can't go on. If their movement was based on his teachings, on Yeshua, Jesus' teachings, it would be gone. If it was based on a philosophy, gone. If it was based, actually, let me do even more than that. It's based on a man more than any other faith. You could say, okay, he said some good things, but it's based on him. So therefore, there's no way it can go on, because now he's finished, done, historically, sociologically, anthropologically, or ideologically, all that, see, it's done. We're looking now at a crushed movement. 11 men, a number of women, broken. Friday night, the sun goes down. The Sabbath lights appear throughout Jerusalem. And then the Sabbath, they stay in hiding. They're not even of Jerusalem. They're strangers in a strange city to them. Most of them are Galilean peasants, fishermen. Undoubtedly, they're wanting to go home. The city is hostile. It's got the authorities who crushed and killed their leader. Undoubtedly, some are trying to sleep. They can't sleep. They're weeping, trying to console each other, undoubtedly. Despairing, trying not to be depressed. Or they are. Day of mourning. That would be enough to be in mourning. That would be enough. But it's beyond mourning. They're not just mourning for their beloved friend. He wasn't just a person to them. He's their hope in God. It's everything at once. The love of God, it's dead. Now, these are really not debatable points. That's what we have. The movement clearly was destined, it seemed, to fade into obscurity. And there were messianic movements, or people said this is the Messiah. We don't know basically anything about them pretty much. Much today, most people know nothing. They're gone. And the chances are we would never hear about this. But, and here's the but. But is a very important word. But then something happens. Friday night, Saturday, we got a situation. A band of followers as dead. Graphically witnessed the violent, bloody end of everything they hoped for, disillusioned, depressed, discouraged, everything. And then something happens. Between Friday night and Sunday morning, something happens. And the result of that something that happened between Friday and Sunday is the greatest movement the world has ever known. The result is the most life-changing movement and power the planet has ever known. The result is the most radical thing the world has ever witnessed. What happened? Why is Jesus on Newsweek this week? Why is he on Time Magazine this week? You can't have, how do you have that Friday night and you have Newsweek? How do you have Friday night and Time today? 2,000 years later. You've got a crushed thing. You've got this one side of the equation. You have the crushed movement. On the other side of the equation, you have the most confident band of people the world has ever known. What happened? What possibly happened? Something happened. These are indisputable facts. Here they are. Something came. Here's the puzzle. What's missing? Something came into the picture. Some factor, some mystery event, some unknown thing that could account for all this. What was it? Everything we said is absolute history. Something happened that changed the world. It was so powerful that whatever happened that weekend has so even divided the age, divided the calendar. It wasn't Bethlehem. Bethlehem is what they went to mark to, but if it was only Bethlehem and not this weekend, it never would have been on the map. What happened that Passover weekend? This mystery component, this mystery puzzle piece, this mystery event. What do we have to say what happened? We've got testimonies. As far as manuscripts are concerned, you know, the New Testament is the best attested ancient manuscript in the world by far. The mere existence of the gospel says that it's there. If nothing happened that weekend, you wouldn't have the gospel accounts. They would have just folded it up, throw away their notes if they took any. They would never have the Gospels. Remember, they knew the ending before they wrote the beginning. They were there that weekend. So you would have nothing. They would be disillusioned. You have Mark, possibly linked to Peter's account. You have Mattathiah or Matthew, the tax gatherer, who was the eyewitness of what he saw. You have Yochanan, John, who was also a separate eyewitness. You've got Shimon, Peter, his letters, his epistles, also separate eyewitness. You have Yaakov, James, another eyewitness of the life of Messiah. And then you have the testimony of Luke, not firsthand, yet contemporary. He was alive when they were alive. Some think that he got some of it from Mary herself. They all bear witness one way or the other by their very existence that there was a mystery event after that Friday night. But another problem. All those who try to explain away the two